what has been in the past is that everybody's gotten a piece. We can't hold it all. There's just too much. Too much coming in now of great possibilities and healing. And so what has been in the past is an element of competition from old times in maternal line. I'll just speak of females in the maternal line that has you got to speak. First of all, we have to be quiet. So I'm going to pull you down because we have to be quiet and silent to be safe. So that's what's going on. Competition, I've got the answer. You're right. That one doesn't work. Mine will work better. That was going on. I think there's a lot of, in my world anyway, a lot of lessening of that, because on the galactic platform, everything exists, and it's this and this and this and this and this, like Lego pieces. In my world, the information came together in various processes. So even in my work, we probably have 30 more processes we could activate. We don't have just one, at least 30. And then we learn how individually we can put them together. I might put 1, 2, and 4 together, and somebody else might take 1, 5, and 10 together, and they all do a specific, unique to us, but we honor that the whole includes all of the pieces, and we can use the pieces as we need them to be used. Mm-hmm. Where we begin, and this is a very good point, where we begin is with a declaration, because we are women. We are the ones to declare and design culture, walk the walk, bring it into form, and watch what steps show up for us. So I'm making a note, because I've got I always have to have my note handy, because I'm making a note here. So we start with a declaration, like a reality statement. I call it reality statement, declaration actually, or an affirmation. And it would say, like, all of the pieces of information to be free, to be sovereign, to be creative, to be supportive, and more are shared within a mindset or a platform that values they each have valuable space, so they can all exist together. And individuals learn to follow their own guidance as to which to use when. That's what I would want to see happening. So you say what it is that you see as an outcome that would be important. Hi, Laura. Hi, Sharon. We were just chatting right now. So you start with a declaration or an affirmation. So in the tag work, the Tara, did you get that sentence down pretty much?
No, you said it really fast.
I did. I know.
But it's recorded, so
I was just going to try to make up my own.
Make up your own. We were just we're just discussing right now, because Leon asked a very important question. We haven't even started yet. We have, but we haven't. Leon asked a very question, and the question was this: we know that information, new information and old information of value, is just raining down on us, and all these puzzle pieces are out in the world. So how do we make it possible for the puzzles to come together to be usable in a form for, she's coming from the Global Grandmother Group, but it doesn't matter where we're coming from, for our people, for our work, for ourselves. And I was just saying that you start with a viewpoint, mindset, or platform that's large enough that they all have value. So we're not fighting each other as to who's most valuable. When a person comes to me and they say, I've got this problem and I've used Reiki and it doesn't work because it hasn't changed it, I say, stop. No, Reiki does work. But what you're dealing with needs more pieces to your puzzle. So we can validate, because it does. But often Reiki for one person whose issue has 7 pieces might come together really great with Reiki. But a person whose situation has 20 pieces, Reiki will begin a movement. You see, and then maybe diet, and then maybe life change, exercise. I call it an integrated model. So you start with that kind of a platform, and then people teach people that as they learn these tools in their toolbox, then they follow their intuition as to which they use when, valuing them all. But really, where you totally begin is with a declaration, a reality declaration or a mindset. It would be something like, in our world, the understanding of healing, inspiring, encouraging, bringing to wholeness requires multiple tools or puzzle pieces in an either not with it, this and then this and then this, or integrated model. There are multiple systems in place to teach tools, processes, offer support for individuals to bring those pieces together uniquely for the situation that they are facing. 2 reality declarations. Now I'm going to take you through what we do in TAG. Then we call in, because we're setting it we're setting it right now. So we ask that the teams of guidance, higher selves, and in spirit, for humanity, for every individual in human form. By the way, this is kind of pre-class, guys. Move the energy, the life flow energy of each individual into that declared reality for themselves and all to whom they are connected in love. We bring in the PTO team who can identify domination type energy and have it removed. We call in the PTO team and say, Scotty Beam, blast those energies to their place of light dust. Defrag the 5th dimensional region of all inhuman bodysuits. Clear that computer hard drive. 5th dimension, clear the 5th dimension. And have the causal team for each individual and higher self create the highest and best program, software program, coding for that declaration to become effective in those lives. Download the codes to the 1st dimensional field into the feet, walking with Gaia differently, and anchor the program itself into the hard drive for this lifetime of each individual in the 5th dimension. I'm going to take you through the next process, and it's a brain balance. It gets that declaration that has been words and now kind of ether all over, bring it into the brain. We do what's called a Cook's hookup. And I mean, so that the brain neurons get it. So this is how you do a Cook's hookup. You put your arms together this way. See how I've done that? So you're going to do this way and then this way. Roll it up under your chin. Cross your ankles. And you'll put your tongue at the roof of your mouth. And as you think of that unification, puzzle pieces coming together effortlessly, so people's lives come together in wonderful ways, that's what we're imagining. And roll your eyes 12 times clockwise and then 12 times counterclockwise. you're complete, take a breath. Drop your arms down. I like sometimes feel like I need to brush energy off. And then we're going to do a little tapping process. Unique. I use unique words, but pop over at the top of the. Up until now, fractured tools prevented effective healing. Up until now, side of the eyes. Even though I recognize that has been the model. Bottom of the eyes. At this moment, I release that platform. It is completed. Could you, under the nose and chin, at the chin, all puzzle pieces needed for each individual, right here at the clavicle, come together, come to them because they are ready. Inside of the integration of appropriate tools for healing, clearing, releasing, expanding, and creating belong in each individual's hands, and it is there, top of the head. We effortlessly, gently, and quickly see restoration of wholeness within humanity. Take a breath. And watch in your imagination, bring the picture that's happening. And get the feeling, how are you feeling? How are those in that movement? How are they feeling? Breathe that feeling and just tap it into your body wherever you'd like to have it held. Might be the heart, it might be the solar plexus, could be up in the head area, wherever. That's where that feeling will be expanded and stored.
Sharon, I have a question.
Start.
I know I've been working with you for years, so I've been doing these techniques for a long time, but I have a question as far as doing the eye rolling with the Cook's hookup. So you know how you do a new declaration and your eyes kind of get stuck and they're hard to move in a certain direction, but then there's times where it's easy to move. Does that mean that the energy is flowing better, or that your eyes are less tired, or the people you're doing it on are less resistant to the energy? What does that mean?
It just means that there's some resistance or some blocked energy. So you just have to go slower and make sure you move through that area. And this work comes from research that was done in the 50s. It also comes out of a program called Educational Kinesiology. So it actually does mimic what they have used to restore brain connections with those who have had brain trauma.
Okay, so when it goes easier, then the block is removed.
Yes. Jenny asked a good question. And sometimes what I have found when I've done some declarations and I've asked my team, how many times do I need to do the brain balance? There was one that was really tough. And it was around men, 75 times. So, so here's, yes, that's a good idea. She's just saying, can we get an email with the statements? Yeah, you're not going to be able to write them fast enough. We're recording it, so you'll get the recording too. And so if you go like the first 10 minutes probably is where those will be found. So that would be a good idea. Okay, so we're welcome. Now we can, that was perfect because it got us into a new place before we even start our work today. So welcome to this group and to our intention. So we're going to set official space. We gather in the space of sacred sovereignty. Become united and committed to the voice that we have as a soul in a female body. claiming the clarity, the connections to our home and our divine help beyond earth, standing in our Sophia power restored to us, knowing that the work we are doing today is very, very new and called for from those in our divine families, of which we are simply a point. We surround ourselves within the golden cocoon of sixfold teams of healers, guides, protectors, and any additional protection space that you feel and you use. Add that. We set around each one of us, our home, ourselves, our families, our land, the field of extinction through which outsiders cannot pass, but are literally identified and moved into their place of being that light dust, no longer on the planet. We ask that the teams in spirit who are also committed, A, to the Sophia authority strengthening, but also to the release of all that has dropped and held those in male bodies. We ask them to be with us. We are grateful to Gaia for allowing us to be here on her home, even in our contaminated space. And we know she is with us. We are with her. What we claim for our families, clarity, wholeness, release, we claim for her. So with that, our circle is set. Our boundaries are in place. We ask to work in that region beyond Earth of the fourth world for greater clarity, stability, and guidance. And give great thanks for those who help us from that world of spirit. And so it is. Okay. So the next thing let's do is each of you place yourself in the circle, and I'll let you do it popcorn style. Well, let's do it tag style. You tag that because the circle is set, it's ready for us. So put your name where you are on the planet and the quality that you felt in sensing the unification of individuals and of tools and of that healing coming quickly and more gently. So, and then tag the next person. So I'll begin. So Sharon Raji Maynard, I'm on Whidbey Island, state of Washington, and I really felt a laugh, lightening, a joy, a smile. Glad to be here with you. And I'm going to pass to Lian.
I'm Lian. I live in Copenhagen, and I'm a Chinese from Malaysia. But I, for some reason, would like to mention that I've been mistaken as an Eskimo many, many, many times. I've been asked whether I was an Eskimo. And for some reason, I just like to mention this. So I tag Maria Christina.
Thank you, Liam. Maria Cristina from Zurich, Switzerland. And I felt a lot of dismantling expectations, or just, lowering expectations. And an excitement. It's just an excitement for this really new. So, and I tag Tara.
I'm Tara Rezka, and I'm in Anthem, Arizona. And I'm also feeling excitement. I feel like what we're doing today is going to unlock a big piece of the puzzle and bring some, I guess, comfort to the males and some release of some heaviness to them. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will call on Sharon, the other Sharon. Hi.
You pushed the wrong button, didn't you, Sharon? I'm just pushing I'm pushing the unmute button so that I think you can see it. Huh.
Call on Alicia while they figure that out.
Hi, my name is Alicia Wilson and I'm in Gilbert, Arizona. And the three things that I felt the most in really my heart chakra area and my chest got kind of tight when we were doing that, but was relief, comfort, and a knowing that things are moving in the right direction. I'll call on Jenny while they're getting unmuted.
Hey everyone, my name is Jenny Weiss and I am out here in Detroit, Michigan. The word that came to me was synergy. And Sharon, what was the word that you used? Was it integrative?
Integrative model. Yeah.
Integrative, yeah. I really like that term. I've kind of used that model myself. Holistic, and so yeah, that resonates. I also just wanted to share that I have my two pups on either side of me and they are here for this as well.
That's great. It's interesting, Sharon, because supposedly I can unmute you, but I can't unmute you. Supposedly you can unmute yourself, and you can't unmute yourself. Do you want to go out and come back in? We'll wait for a few minutes. Is that okay for everyone? Yeah, because we do want to hear your voice. So go out, come back in, and then we'll go from here. Oh, good. I'm glad we got our furry family with us too. Gaia furry family. What more do we need? I had scheduled up to 2 hours. We are not going to be here 2 hours. We're going to be here until we're finished, which will be less than 2 hours. Okay. Because yeah. So 5, you have 5. Oh my gosh. Jenny,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, she's got you ahead. I have one that's not mine, but it's my daughter's.
Yeah, they're small. They're Chihuahua mixes, so yeah, they're portable.
It's a lot. That's portable. I had
Yeah.
9 portable too, but that's also still a bunch, you know.
That's what my
Yeah.
little black one is, a Chihuahua mix. You can see her. She's really tiny.
Aw, so cute.
Tara's got some. How many do you have, Tara?
Dogs. I have just one bigger dog, it's a Doberman mix. The other one we had to put to sleep. And then we have a cat and a tortoise.
Oh, and a tortoise too. Great.
Sage has a tortoise, our youngest daughter, who's 20.
Very good. Okay, let's see. I hope they can come back in. They should be able to. This is the time where you have a field that's coming through our space. And it doesn't really matter where it's coming from because clouds of distorted energy are circling the globe now. They always have, but there are so much more confusion, worry, doubt, anger, war, displacement than we've ever seen on the planet before. And so there's a lot more clouds. So moving through our space right now is this cloud, and we don't even have to put a name on it, but we're seeing it through Laura and Sharon's difficulty in getting in and getting a voice. Do you see that? And what we've just claimed is that the tools are there and come together for unification, for healing, etc. So we reclaim that, and the cloud, if you just imagine that cloud, we're going to blast it with that beam, Scotty beam, dissolving the cloud, because we don't need it, want it, and we certainly don't want it to move beyond us. So when this comes up, things like this come up, you just ask yourself, is this beneficial and do I want to keep it? No, I don't. Do I want disruptions for my families, for my loved ones, for my meetings, for my sisters? No, I don't. PTO, I'm setting the space, and the space is unification, love, ease, release, healing, whatever. Bring in the PTO teams, Scotty, Blaster, the cloud, the field. And dissipate. Looks like you guys made a shift. You gave us a great example of what's going to happen in our lives. It always has. We're going along smoothly, and then there's a bump or even a wall. And then if we get confused at the bump or the wall, or say, oh, that's ego, and ignore it, no, it's a cloud of energy moving through. Do we want to keep it for this meeting? No, we don't. I don't care where it came from. It may have come from Ukraine and the confusion they're feeling there. Do I want to keep it for myself or anyone else? No. My world is a world of unity, security. Yeah. And Sharon is doing blasting all over the place, I can see. And use that protocol because it has very specific permissions given to dissolve. People talk about dissolving the patriarchy. We are dissolving the patriarchy today. That's what we're doing. So we're also dissolving clouds that interfere with that. Okay, Laura, Sharon, you think you can unmute now? Place yourself in the circle.
Hi, I'm Laura. And we're live. Yay. It's working. Oh, yeah. Well, I was so energized from their first meeting. That was really nice. And looking forward to all you offer for this. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
And I'm Sharon here in Colorado. Sunny, blistery, breezy day. I'm with my friend at her home, which is lovely. And so looking forward, I have a troubled brother who has reemerged this week in my life with some trauma. So he will be with us. I mean, he's forefront of my mind right now, and did this workshop with you before and know that it's just really powerful. So glad to be here. Thank you. And we'll bring 2 furry friends in also.
Yes.
So as a quick overview, those who have done my work before, I've been in workshops with me before, know that I work on the galactic platform. So I have to give a little bit of understanding because it's not exactly a match for what personal growth, new age, etc. teaches out there. So we all come from a home that is basically nothing there but good, all powerful, all unified. And we are the dots of light in that big ocean. And that's all there is love. Love is one aspect of all that is. And that's totally true. And as we come together in smaller groups to experience a portion of that home under specific agendas, we extended from home and kind of narrowed the range of frequencies of all possibility. We didn't cut it off, but range of possibility. So some agendas were to experience what we would call joy, or clarity, peace, etc., curiosity. And that, and as we extended from home, our light and our creativity and our joy and bubbliness attracted other groups who had, by intention and choice, by their right, had inserted codes or programs into their stream from home to twist and open the possibilities of domination in many, many, many forms. Many, many forms, but domination we'll use as a holder. And so their intention is to be parasitic, to use other people's energy so that they could just experience, what's that like? I don't have to create, I'll use yours. So when these families who had kept aligned to love aspects of all good drew the attention of parasitics usually suck their host right to death if necessary, because they don't care. That's not their concern. Preserving life is not their concern. And they're always looking for other places to invade, capture, devise, own, literally, like the masters who create the plantation with the slaves already there. And that's what happened to us in the galactic worlds. Our boundaries, we bought the lie they broadcast, which was, you're not enough. I will teach you more. I will help you more. I will open doors. And some of those families, not all of them, some of those families bought that lie and opened their boundary doors to allow these parasitic types to come in. As soon as the parasitic types came in, they clamped down, began clamping ownership numbers, that's coding, into those divine families. And literally all of those beings in the families were owned by the outsiders. That's what had happened to our families. We tried many, many, many ways to get rid of them, to stay safe, to remove them, didn't work. And we were literally also being sucked dry. So we kept devolving, as Hermetics say, and are lessening less energy for us, more energy for them, less energy for us, until we decided we've got to try something very different. And therefore, Earth was the answer for the plan. Earth mission, the only purpose for Earth at that moment when we came together with Gaia was to have a place in which outsider energies, those very slippery, deceptive, lying, and also violent energies, could be identified and then somehow have the authority to say, I know who you are, and call in our teams who have the ability, because they were not captured, move them to light dust. Whole purpose of Earth. Only purpose of Earth. To identify that outsider energies, what forms can they take? Do they take? To taste the fruit, if you will, of that which is constrictive from parasitics and expansive from all aspects of good. Law of manifestation was intended to show us outside the outsiders existed. How could we get a voice of authority? Because all of our soul members were owned. So we came up with a brilliant plan, because we are brilliant. And we're brilliant enough to get through the days ahead, by the way. So we came up with a plan in which those numerical codes of ownership, like little computer chips, you know how we have computer chips that can change programs, that we could identify the chips in one of our soul members, any of the soul members, and take those chips out so that when we had a physical bodysuit, which we needed on the planet, the chip from one soul member would be added to the chip that another soul member already carried. So this soul member would carry 2 ownership chips. And the soul who decided to incarnate into the body that carried 2 ownership chips knew they were owned doubly. They knew they were coming as slaves, which they had already been before, but they were coming as slaves into this mission with purpose, out of love, to free some of the souls to come into the second suit, which did not contain any ownership chips, no monitoring. The outsiders did not know the second existed. They only knew that there were 2, what they thought was 2 monitoring chips. They did not know they were held within 1. So the male's assignment, and it was volunteer. All of us here are volunteers. The male assignment was to carry the 2 ownership chips, to be innocuous, sitting on the side of the stream, fishing, walking around, staying away from the female, because the female was not being monitored. So detracting the outsiders, looking like he was innocuous. His power centers unfolded differently than the females unfolded. So his energy came from home down through the divine family, keeping it as secured as we could through the sun. Sun is very important in the male mission. Recalibrating the sun into crown chakra and then out the heart. All these frequencies so fast, so light that the outsiders didn't know what he was doing. He would nurture the village, nurture the woman's work, bring in energy unlimited for her to weave with, for her to create with through his heart. He would be guided to know what to do from heart. So that's what they've been dealing with. And so as soon as the outsiders knew that there was another soul that could absolutely get rid of them, they used the male bodies. Some of those bodies were taken over for the time to invade villages to crush females. So when we look in time and we look at the white male as the problem, is because the outsiders had permission to use the male bodysuit of any color to crush and own, and then to voyeuristically use. I mean, that's what they could use. They could either be in the body for a time, or they could experience vicariously through the body like a puppet master. And so when the male bodysuit was crippled 300,000 years ago, what got unplugged was his heart center. This is not a mother problem that our men don't feel. It is not a societal problem that our men don't feel. Their heart was unplugged. And that instead of being guided by the heart, the energy for his guidance, his nurturing, his feeding of wellness was attached to the gonads. And can you guess where the 2 ownerships chips reside in the male bodysuit? Gonads. So so that whole presence of a soul who was prepared to come in and love and nurture and encourage and watch and cheer from the sidelines. We were not going to have babies. That was not the purpose. Cheer from the sidelines. He was so prepared to be that pillar. And now in our day, they come into this bodysuit of male, all prepared to be that And what they're told is they can't feel. They have to be master over. They have to crush anything that is female. You see? Huge heart pain in our men. When souls begin to wake up that have been in male bodysuits or carry that male energy trauma, it is their heart that hurts. It's their whole identity that is threatened because they are not prepared to be the leaders they are put in positions to be. Do you see that in the world? They're not prepared to be leaders because that wasn't what they were doing. What they're doing now is they have been made to be the mouthpiece of outsiders, which is absolutely abhorrent to them at a soul level. So that's what we're here to change, okay? So we're first of all going to go through our claiming our Sophia presence, and then we're going to do a guided journey to that male restoration. So you need to stretch it, or because it'll probably be maybe a half hour. Do you need to stretch before we get started? If anybody needs to stretch, raise your hand. Okay, let's take out, should we take just, is a 3 minute enough? So we will get back at 4:50 before the hour. Okay, so get up, stretch, get some water, really let your body be moved. Okay, and we'll be back. Okay. I want to, before we start, I want to say that you know, and I know, and I'm just affirming it here, that wherever you are while we do this journeying is the perfect place for you to be. And what I mean by that is sometimes you might take a guided journey and you're right there and it's right there, it's vivid and etc. And sometimes it feels like you're asleep and you don't know what happened, and that's okay too. When I was working in the last group of classes in January, this last January, and my daughter Jennifer was at her home in Oklahoma, and she was dealing with cancer treatments. And sometimes when she was in class, all she could do is lay in bed with her phone by her, audio turned off, video turned off, and just listen and go in and out of listening. And I really got to see how important it was that she was a part of that group for herself and for the group. That we don't have to be anything other than what we are and what's going on for us in the moment. So that's what we're gonna be absolutely sure of. So take a breath and make sure you feel comfortable and stable where you're at. You may find that you are right with the journey as we go along. If you need to capture notes along the way, feel free to do that. This is your journey. And Jan, I really appreciate that you put in the ancestors of Eskimo lineage here. That was important, and we may not know why exactly, but I really got that was important too. Okay. So here we are gathered in this circle, connected with circles beyond ourselves on the planet, connected to sister circles within Gaia, connected to the mycelium, building and holding, expanding and feeding and nourishing all women, the mycelium of wisdom, experience, all that is good. And we are here by intention to address the field of the male experience on this planet. That field of male experience that is held within the male psyche, conscious, unconscious, part of humanity. Just imagine that field is there with you. It may be looking out over mountaintop and there's the field stretching before you, totally unlimited. You may see it in any form that it presents itself to. It might be a small globe that you're holding. Field of male experience. And as Sophia's, we take the staff that we carry. I carry mine in my left hand. And we put that staff into the ground of that field. And we declare the field of male experiences on planet Earth. That field is mine. It is mine by divine calling and responsibility as a Sophia. That field is mine. And I declare that field wholly in resonance to our home of good. You take the sword, I hold that in my right hand, and you thrust it into the sky because it isn't about fighting or cutting. It is about connection, clear, solid connection like computer cords into worlds beyond earth, beyond heaven, into Laniakea. We say to the teams there, I call them the PTO teams, blast this field clear of outsider energy, influence, forms of any kind in any region of Earth experience. I declare they be cleared. Soared into the sky. Blast. Not acceptable here. When you feel ready, bring yourself back to centered. We open up the field to the energy of males. They may show up as males in your world. It may be unlimited from the mountaintop. We call to us our male brothers. And they come to us in their pain. They do not have to wear costumes of ownership, domination that the culture here has required of them. They come in their truth, and we surround them with those healers, guides, as we travel to free them further. So see them surrounded in any way you do, totally secure, totally heard, but not having to remain feeling their pain. It is present, but not, they don't have to be feeling it. We call in each of our guides. You have yours, I have mine. We'll each get pieces of this puzzle. And ask your guides to take you back in time, wherever you need to go, whatever village, whatever family situation, whatever further and further back. You need to go to where there is a knot of ownership over males. The count of 3, you will be there. Going back 1 in total safety and guidance. Back in time 2. Back in time 3 to where you can be most impactful. And as you observe yourself on the planet or wherever you landed, notice what you are wearing on your feet and what you are wearing as clothing. Notice the presence that you are. And then ask to be shown the situation within the males of that time. What do you see happening to them because of outsiders? You're the observer. Notice what is happening. Now freeze frame that situation. Shifting to your Sophia presence, put your staff in the ground. I own this situation. I own the male bodies that are here. I own the energy field that is here. Staff in the ground. This field, these bodies are mine. Staff in the sky. PTO. Deep 6 and blast. Outsider energy to extinction. Notice how you feel. When you're ready, surround the situation of those males with the energy of Sophia. And you move into the circle. I am there with you. And together we say, my loved ones, my loved ones, we have finally reached the end. And I am so sorry for your pain. I am so sorry it took us so long. But we did it. We are at a place to accomplish our mission. And I'm reminding you, my brothers, I am reminding you, you did nothing wrong. You are not in any way to blame. The role you were willing to take on to be the vehicle that the outsiders could own in order for us in female bodies to be free enough to eliminate them. The role you committed to is completed. It's completed. You did it out of love of your family. I'm reminding you. And observe what it is that is rippling through those souls that are our souls in male brother bodysuits, our brothers in male bodysuits. And they have everything they need to cry, to be in pain in any way, because they have the Sophia sisters there. They have grace there, heart of females. Put our staff in the ground again. I own this space. I own these bodies, all bodies that we call male. From the beginning of time till now, I own them. From this point forward, I own them. And I declare that all soul contracts they made to be the slaves entrapped by outsiders is ended. Those soul contracts are ended. They are fulfilled. And those cords dissolved into light, celebratory light. The costumes the men took on, the emotions they've stored because of that, devolving into such entrapment, burned away. Gaia burned away, gone. Emotions, costumes gone. The stage they've been playing on of domination, for men domination, patriarchy, that stage are dissolved, eliminated, gone. The field of outsiders controlling men, gone to extinction. And we bring in the sacred masculine energy of sun, heart, home. Sun, heart, home. That is their foundation. They are the nurturers They feed energy of resource, encouragement, delight in, muscles for what women declare and design. And we activate their 15 power centers within the evolutionary upgraded bodysuit blueprint. They are restored to their original purpose, nurturing. And each of those have a divine masculine brother that is there with them. All within the circle of Sophia. That divine masculine presence says, brother, speak this with me. And each of them hear the same process. I forgive myself for all hurts, real or imagined, all violence, trauma, rape, real or imagined, for all unkept promises, intentional or unintentional neglect that I have perpetrated. As I played these roles, I forgive myself of those energies and place them into that field of divine good to be brought to extinction dust, the outsider influence, or to celebratory light, the love that prompted these roles. I forgive myself. And I ask that doors open as I stand with life differently. I stand with you, life, as a nurturer of all that those in female bodies design of good. And I ask that doors be opened for me to walk in that place and presence. Now, each of those male representatives for all men, each of those male presence in your imaginatory journey are now embraced by a Sophia sister. Sophia sisters, we understand the purpose, the reason for these dramas, and we are now taking our rightful place as authority. So the dramas brought us to our authority voice. So each male in your journey has a Sophia sister who holds him hands across on his cheeks and looks into his eyes and says, brother, I forgive you for all hurts, traumas, violence, misunderstandings, rapes that were experienced from you and all men playing that role. From the beginning of our time on earth, I forgive all of that energy. That energy is made extinct, unable to reform in any fashion. And I place you, my brother, in the hands of divine good. That you are a pillar of nurturing, support of women's creations and values You are guided by heart, connected to home, reminding us where we came from. And grateful we are able to release the bonds of outsiders and the bonds of soul contracts. They are both null and void. Now, hand in hand, the female and the male. She to design, to create, to safeguard those creations. Creators of cultures of all good. She, creators of cultures of all good. He, flowing of all good, nurturing, encouraging, being delighted by those creations. They stand together, unified in their correct assignments and responsibilities, and they stand together facing that unlimited energy of life. And sense what they are feeling together as they look out over possibilities of good. Holding hands, united, being able to look out over life differently. What are you feeling? And they can say life, unlimited. Up until now, we've been conflicted, we've been crippled, we've been at each other's throats. We haven't been free to be what we had intended. That's behind us. That's gone. We stand with you, together with each other. Souls in male bodies, souls in female bodies, and whatever bodies those souls have felt most comfortable being. Saying to you, life, open the doors. We are creating together. And we ask that those in our male and female lineage take on the assignment to go through all villages' times, communities' times, families' times, back in time to the original 9 clans. That every one of them are brought on board of this correction and restoration as we here in this present moment vision it forward. The correction, the restoration, completion of the need to play outsider roles. That is complete, gone. We stand open to life differently. Now, before you come back to our daily circle in this day, just ask, is there anything that those who have been there for you and has in this process, is there anything they need from you? Or is there anything you need to ask of them? When you feel complete with that, your guides will bring you back to this time and place. As you come back, if you want to take a few moments to capture in a journal things that were you want to keep as important reminders, do that also. So we'll take about 2 minutes and then we'll kind of do a check-in takeaway before we close the circle. Okay. So this is the space to say whatever you'd like to say, whether it was experience, information. Sometimes, like we spoke of as beginning, fracture, we get pieces. So sometimes what you get in your journey might be important just to speak into the group because there's pieces that we might need. So whatever it is you feel to share or not share is fine. But let's just go around the circle, tag again, okay? And Maria Christina, can we start with you and then you tag whoever next?
Thank you, Sharon. Why did I feel that it would be me? What I want to speak into the circle or share my experience of is that I was taken into a village on an island, which really surprised me. And the climate was warm, and I was confronted with false accusations by mail. So that's where my journey started. But then I questioned what time it was, and I couldn't figure out, how many thousands or 100,000s of years. Couldn't figure that out. And then I felt like being taken into pre-Egypt times and the Roman Empire, and the Templars, all this programming they went through. and then all of a sudden I was, the village was actually, or the male energy, or the village was actually that part that I hold now here, my male side. And that was around shortly after you started to ask for forgiveness. And that's where I really felt a huge release, energetic release. And then it just rippled through the lineages. But also in that awareness, I had like memories of experiences my soul had in a male bodysuit, or just the experiences that are captured or, engraved in our DNA as well, which we have. I'm sure we have female and male experiences have had. So yes, and also all of a sudden my mind went to Copenhagen, to Lyon, and sort of it's like a straight line from Zurich up to Copenhagen, more or less. And and then I was like made aware of the waves of rippling effects that we are creating. So yes, thank you. Groundbreaking stuff. And I tag the other Sharon Alexander.
Whew. Thank you for sharing that, Maria Christina. I traveled with my 2 brothers and my father back to a native tribe, and the men were out hunting, providing the nurturing and the sustenance when they were affected by the negative energies, the outsider energies. And it was very powerful to be a part of, to be a sister to the men in this tribe, and even now to know that what my takeaway is to know that I can still work with them, and I can still be there for them on an energetic level, even if I choose not to engage on a physical level or at this time, or to engage from that place, a place of boundaries in this lifetime, but also a place of healing and support across the ages. I think that's my takeaway from all of this. So I appreciate that. And I'll pass it to Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura, and yeah, I found it very powerful. It seemed like it took a very long process of working through the male lineage. And I really had to keep calling in Sophia to help me really cut through that all the way back to the 9 original tribes. Very hardcore, dominant male energy. And it took the whole time that we had just to keep cutting through that old belief pattern, the old stuckness. Just a lot of stuckness in my family lineage. So I was glad for all that time to keep shifting it. I feel it came to completion right at the last moment. So that was beautiful to see that shift. Yeah, and I pass it to Liam. Oh, sorry.
I've been working on this thing for a while now without actually working the way it was done today, and it sort of clicked for me. And the thing that when I was in California about 10 years ago, I met a lot of eagles, which was very, very strange. There were about 25 eagles circling up in the air. And today, when you talked about males, it was those eagles that were the males. And they were so injured for some reason. I saw them. I mean, when you were in your meditation. Then the other thing that, as you went through the meditation, the other thing that I connected with, and which I have already done once before through another clairvoyant, was my time in the Genghis Khan period, where my father was some kind of general, but he was not Genghis Khan himself. And I was at home in the with my mother, but because the way things were at those times, the man was always away. But I admired him from a distance. And when I was around 18 or something like that, or even younger, he decided to take me to war. And there I had taken a lot of male children away from the villages. And all this kind of thing today, it sort of made sense. But fortunately, I still had my sense of consciousness because I was close to my mother. So I was dragging these children away from their mother from another village and to make them soldiers in the Genghis Khan army. I was actually very split at that time. But fortunately for me, because my other clairvoyant was saying I had taken the right of the freedom from people. And in this life, I'm sort of trying to understand this thing. But fortunately for me, I died very early in war. So my period of killing children, dragging children away from their parents, was not particularly long. And this was what I connected today. And I'm beginning to understand what you're talking about. These males, the souls in male bodies that are influenced by the forces of, I think you call it the agenda of domination. I just want to say to you, Sharon, after last Saturday, I have spent many, many, many hours listening to your talk because it makes it was so complicated and so deep. So I really I must have worked over 8 to 10 hours since I talked to you. So I can understand quite a lot of what was going on in when you talked about male souls in female bodies. But it was very important for me that I came here today. And I think I told you too. There are still certain little questions that you use, terms that you use that I did not understand, but I won't bother you with it today now, because as I told you, I'm going to connect with you again. But this connecting with the eagles that were so hurt, it was the males. These eagles represented the males, but they were so hurt. There were many, many, many of them. And then going back to the Genghis Khan period, where males were really made to kill other males because of war. Anyway, I thank you for listening to me, and I tag Tara.
Thank you. So what was interesting was I was in Italy last year, and I had some interest in going into the Colosseum, but then we didn't. It just seemed like this big, ominous, empty, I don't know, kind of just holding on to all this horrible energy. And I felt bad because I kept thinking I really should do work on this, space here. And then, when you're on vacation and you're out drinking wine and doing things with your friends, you kind of forget. And it's interesting because I was taken back to that time, and there were so many men killed there and killing one another, and animals. I think I remember 10,000 animals a day would be killed in there. And so I just looked it up. I guess I didn't realize it was that long ago, like 600 AD or something, that this was active. For some reason, I thought it was a little earlier. I mean, closer to our time, maybe in like 1600s or something. I guess I was wrong. So I went and I, worked on that. And what was interesting, my husband was standing near me with that. So I'm like, because he's been having his own stuff right now in this lifetime currently. So he was there by my side when I did this. And I just, worked on healing, and I did a Scotty beam and tried to remove all the energy that's lingering there, and released all those souls of all their sadness and their hurt and their damage, because that's been recycled and carried with them through all the lifetimes since then, which I would say probably affects almost every single one that's on this planet now. So it felt really good to do that. And I found it to be very interesting and healing for me, because I had felt guilty about not doing anything, and I kind of forgot about it, but I was able to go back and do it after all. So thank you for this opportunity. It was really awesome and very powerful. And I would like to call on, I'll take Alicia. There you are.
Okay. So I wasn't sure what to expect with this. I'm much much newer than I think some of you are. But hey, no time like the present, right? And I actually got quite a bit of information. I don't know how it works for most of you, like if you actually see it, like a vision, like you're watching a movie or an image. It's more like I imagine it and I feel it. And when I have my eyes closed, I see colors sometimes, depending on, what's going on. So, my experience, I feel like, ties in a little bit with each one of you that you've spoken. Maria Christina mentioned being possibly in Egypt or in that type of area. I feel like I was in the Mediterranean area. I was wearing, like almost like biblical times, like very primitive, sandals, very simple clothing, almost like a wrap, just a cloth. It was warm. It was by near a stream, I think, and possibly mountains, but very simple surroundings. And it was a small village, and I was by myself. And when I approached them, there was no fear. I didn't get the feeling that they knew who I was, but there was no fear, there was no questioning. They just all gathered around and were quiet, like as if waiting to hear, what is she gonna say? And when Sharon, as you were speaking the words, and I was, saying them in my head, I felt that heaviness and that relief, and that just like the anticipation is finally over almost, you know, like this is what we've been waiting for, but we didn't know this is what we've been waiting for. And as I was saying those words, for me, the colors green and purple like started lifting, you know, like a light show where it's like, you know, one and then but they alternate, and it was like peeling an onion. It was just layers upon layers upon layers, just finally releasing and dissipating into the air. And what's so interesting to me about this experience is I can connect all of this to what I saw my father and now my brother and my husband trying to deal with. And just almost like that, it's like they're losing hope that it will ever end or get better. And so I wish from the bottom of my heart that I start seeing the differences for them, because I see the pain and I feel it. And it's time. It's time for it to go and be done. Thank you. Jenny, I think you're the only one that hasn't spoken, so have at it, girl.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to get up and start making lunch. Okay, so where I landed, it was funny, Sharon, when you said notice like what's on your feet and what you're wearing. I immediately noticed when I landed that I was barefoot. And I was wearing like a really simple cloth dress, almost looked like a hospital gown, but not. It was like very, very simple. And there was no one around. So I was basically like landed in this prairie environment. And I became aware that the people were like in the cave, or the men were like in the cave. And then after we did the work and the correction, they came out. One of the things that kept coming up for me is like this deep grief. Like they have deep, deep grief for having been wounded in this way. Oh, I wasn't expecting to get emotional about that, but especially after being connected with their heart, it's like they're really aware of this wounding, and they know the correction is like so necessary, and they have a lot of it's almost like apology, but in the ceremony that we just did, like you had us apologizing to them, but I just really feel that I really feel their I just really feel their grief, I guess. And then when you asked if there was anything they wanted to say, or you know, a message or whatever, it was like they want help in visualizing like their light. So what I saw is like this beautiful golden, when you were talking about like the sun and then the heart, was like there's this beautiful golden light that's coming through, and they want us to help visualize them, like the men, all connecting all over the earth. But they really want us to visualize like their light connecting with, my gosh, I was not expecting to get emotional about this, but like
their light connecting with the light of other men, like all over the planet. And so, wow. There was something about them being able to inspire and inform one another, like via this connection of light. And it just felt really important to communicate that they really need us to like see the connection. So thank you for letting me share that.
So just as we have heard, all of those words have added to the field of energy that we've created. Our men being sovereign, connected heart to heart. Those in female bodies being connected, solar plexus to solar plexus, discerning, safeguarding, Sophia. And then our hearts can open differently. We do not serve without vetting. We have a system of discernment. We have a system of safeguarding life. And that's what we do on behalf of our men as they move into this new network. And then imagine that field amplified 1,000,000-fold, becoming a burning, clarifying energy that goes out into the world, all time, space, regions, worlds, lifetimes, more space everywhere. We are so appreciative of being able to be together to do this work this morning. And so it is. So I'm going to turn off the recorder now, and I'm just going to, if I can find the little button